So, hello, how is everybody? I'm recovering from neck surgery. Neck surgery! Neck surgery, yeah! So if I have some slightly grungy looking stitches in the back of my neck visible, I apologise. But the nurse said I wasn't allowed to take them out for a laugh. So, oh God, what have I done? No. Oh, it's on a separate thing. There we are. The perfect crime. Good job nobody's recording. So, hello and welcome to the Norwich Games Festival 25 talk of things that I talk about. And this year, God, imagine doing 52 of them. Bloody hell, oh God. You'd probably run out of topics by week 2. So, this is homunculus horrendus, which is apparently Latin for horrid little man. I don't know if that's true or not. I use one of those online converters, and I think I just make it up half the time, but it sounds cool anyway. So this is the plague of the horrid little men. So let us talk about what we now call mascot platformers, which is sort of platform games where the main character has a very strong design that could potentially stand alone as his own thing. One of the ultimate examples is, of course, the mighty Sonic the Hedgehog. He's got attitude and blue quills for some reason. So Sonic the Hedgehog, an immediately recognisable and very appealing character that's been popular for 34 years now. Who else remembers it coming out? Yeah, makes you feel old, doesn't it? Has a super successful movie series in production. And now, the thing that always sticks in my head about Sonic is I can remember seeing Sonic fan art up on the wall of a school drawn by young kids in like 2007. Now, surely at that point, I don't think there'd been a properly good Sonic game for, like, in those kids' lifetimes, probably? I mean, you know, they aren't all winners. A friend of mine said, there's no way you'll just get a laugh by showing Sonic 06. And I'm like, you've never played Sonic 06, mate. Yeah. And, of course, Sonic and the Black Knight. Who remembers Sonic and the Black Knight? The one nobody remembers. Oh, some people do. I think it's because it was a Wii exclusive, wasn't it? And also really bad. So, yeah. Was there another Wii exclusive Sonic game? What was that? Sonic and the Secret Rings?
That is correct.
Ah, I remembered something, everybody. Make a note. It doesn't happen often. All right, not when you reach my age. So, the point is, a well-deserved, let me say that again so the word is correct, a well-designed and appealing character can capture the imagination and actually transcend mediums. Another great example is, of course, Mario! Yay! There he is on the Super Nintendo. Again, an appealing and cute character. And it's not easy to make a little man character look nifty when you're dealing with a small number of pixels. That was foreshadowing. Now, today we're going to be looking mostly at games released for the Commodore Amiga, partially to bring some coherency to what is a huge topic that could go on forever, but mostly because the Amiga was at the very centre of a weird platform game problem. Old Euro platformers, as they call them these days, get a lot of stick for the level design, and in many cases, quite rightly so if you're ever playing them. But we're only interested in one specific element of the design, the main character. Because during the 90s, UK home computers were plagued by horrid little men. So just last week, the Horrid Little Man Symposium was held on Twitch. It was actually just 4 of us co-streaming a look into the designs of the characters, who are just, well, you know, horrid little men. It was hosted by Duke Donuts there, the big man on the right, who about 18 months ago I heard use the phrase horrid little man game to describe an Amiga platformer, and I couldn't stop laughing for about 10 minutes. It was one of those things where you know exactly what he's talking about despite never really having thought about it before. But yeah. But soon you'll know exactly what he meant to, and you'll wish you didn't. So the attendees were the aforementioned Duke Donuts and Hazemaker64, Tubo, and that's me at the bottom, obviously. Massive thanks to those guys for not only putting me onto this subject, but for digging up reams of absolutely astonishing examples. I strongly recommend giving all 3 of them a follow if you are a Twitch watcher. They all stream regularly. Duke Donuts streams from an incredible variety of original hardware and works in game development. Hazemaker64 is a Commodore 64 expert and has written games for the machine. And Tubo plays some really weird stuff and is slightly obsessed with Biffo the Bear. I'm not going to get into it, but he does an astonishing Blue Sky account of Biffo the bear out of context. I don't know how that thing was drawn. Anyway, before we get into the rancid meat of the subject, let's have a look at an Amiga platform character that did actually work, because they weren't all bad. It's Super Frog. He's a frog and he's super, and he's got a really cool old-timey cartoon design on the cover, created by the artist Eric Schwartz, I believe. Should have checked that before I read it. He looks completely different in the game because, you know, that was a thing. That is something that will become very clear very quickly. Cover art and sometimes even title screens of games often had the main character looking totally different to how they look in-game. But he still looks cute in the game, so it's all good here. And the game's pretty good too. You've played it, it's all right. Bit of Super Frog, pass the time. Now, there are multiple other examples, with James Pond, Mr. Nuts, blah, 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 to name a couple. It's when you start getting into human characters, things start becoming dicey. Only a little dicey at first. This is Kid Chaos. It was kind of a 90s caveman? I don't know. I mean, he's not too horrid, I don't think, but still an odd design. Now, that may be because of changes in development, though. The game itself is dangerously close to Sonic the Hedgehog in design. Have you ever played it? Yeah. The gameplay also very close to Sonic the Hedgehog. And originally the kid was going to be something called Cosmic Kitten, which sounds like an amazing shop that sells bubble tea or something. But I think it was basically a character that looks quite a lot like a cat version of Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. But it was felt that having an animal in it would be pushing things too far into Sonic territory legally. Understandable. So it became the kind of cartoon school bully thing we see here. I don't know, he's literally dragging his knuckles at the sprite. It's very odd. It's a pretty good game, incidentally. Closest thing to Sonic on the Amiga by a country mile. So, anyway, we can avoid it no longer. The time has come to delve into the world of horrid little men. And this will involve mild audience participation. We're going to look at the title screens and game sprites of a load of platform games and decide, are they horrid little men or are they not? But before we do that, we must define terms, of course. So, here's Chuck Rogg. Oh my God. That shouldn't be in here yet. Well, let's look at Chuck Rogg first. I've moved the bloody pictures around, haven't I? So, we'll come back to that. Oh, look, here's the bit we should be on. Horrid. So, the first part of the term horrid little men is, of course, horrid. So, that means you have a visceral reaction when you see it. By which I mean you see it and you go, ugh, ugh. So if you saw it in real life, you'd probably, I don't know, hit it with a shovel and run in one direction for an hour screaming. You know, it's not something you would want to see in real life. Little can mean two things, often simultaneously. The character has inhuman proportions, often sort of babyish, with things like a gigantic nose or ears or gigantic feet, or other parts, like the entire torso, can be missing completely. Yep, just gone. No torso for you. The second meaning is inexplicably tiny compared to the game's world, as in the doorways or ladders appear to be made for creatures much larger than the game's protagonist, and often any other creature in the game, but let's not get into that. And somehow, like strawberries, they pick up a half their height for, I don't know, strawberry reasons. Man here means non-infant human. Can't be an animal. Can't be a baby. We're using man as in mankind, or the Imperium of Man, if you like your Warhammer. So not gender or sex specific, as there are horrid little women in these games, and we'll be seeing some later. But as I'm sure you've guessed, we're using men as shorthand basically because 99% of characters in these games were male, and 99.9% of the tiny, gross, weirdo ones were male. So if a character ticks all three of these boxes, then ding ding, we have a horrid little man. What fun we'll have. Now, things to look out for. Characters must be at least 50% human. What does that really mean? I'm not sure. It can't just be like a blob or something. It's got to like mostly be here, or at least half human. We'll play it by ear. It'll be fine. One of the hallmarks of horrid little men is an overly detailed design, or an overly detailed specific body part. So look out for those. And the design shouldn't be comically grotesque on purpose, like Booger Man or something like that. It should feel like a ruined attempt to make an appealing protagonist. because as the girl with the dragon 32, what an amazing name, said during the live stream, they should feel like a failed mascot platformer character. And I think that's the sort of the key of it. It feels like somebody was doing the work. Yeah, we're going to make something that really appealed to people, and instead they made something that's effectively a sleep paralysis demon. Right. We will be covering cover art and game sprites separately. We'll be rating one and the other because, to be honest, most of the time they're so different anyway, we pretty much have to. Sometimes the title screens are different, as I said earlier, so we'll do those separately if relevant. Right, quickly back to Chuck Rock! There he is. So as an example, there's Chuck Rock and the sequel, Son of Chuck. Neither of these qualify. For you see, Chuck is a deliberate caricature of a caveman and sort of works to the extent that he doesn't immediately make my skin crawl. Maybe after a few minutes, but I'm not going ugh as soon as I see him. Son of Chuck is absolutely weird and creepy and over-detailed. I don't know what was going through their minds, frankly. But he's a literal baby, so he doesn't count. Let's leave the babies out of it. I mean, there aren't very many of them for starters. I'm now going through Amiga games with weird babies as the main character. Do you know what? There's a surprising number of them. That's probably a talk for another day. Right, let us get going. So, I pressed the button one time too many. So let's get going. As ever, massive appreciation to the operators and contributors of game aggregation websites like Lemon Amiga and Hall of Light, Moby Games, etc. Without which, doing something like this would be an absolute nightmare and probably last 3 minutes. Right, we're going to start off with a bit of a warm-up, some 8-bit games. These generally didn't have the sprite detail needed to make the in-game characters truly horrid. But the covers, oh yeah. Right, we're going to start off with everybody's best friend, Sprite Man. Now, Sprite Man, mate, where were you when I did the talk on horrible game covers? Because I feel like you could have been right up there at the top. Yep, there he is, a sort of horribly overly detailed thing eating a pea pod with being chased by is it a plant or a ghost or both? A plost, a gaunt, I've got no idea. But in the game, I think we can probably just, not worry about the sprite because it's literally just Pac-Man. It's not human. Yeah, not worried about it. So, what do we think? Do we think Sprite Man is a horrid little man? He certainly makes me go, bleh, so that was easy. He's certainly overly detailed and weird. He does appear to be smaller than perhaps he really should be, given what's around him. And he's about 50% human, maybe, with the arms and legs. What do you think? Hands up if you think he's a horrid little man on the cover there. Unanimous. We can sign you to the dustbin of history, Sprite Man. I'll bet he only drinks Mountain Dew as well, just to confuse people. Next up. Trolley Wally. He's wearing a wig. He's got weird, overly detailed yellow feet again. He has got that in common, the Sprite Man. Great. Let's hope we won't be seeing any more of that. He appears to be too small. There's a 10p piece near him and a record and stuff. Yeah, I think he qualifies from my point of view. The title screen has a sort of different take on him where he's horrid but kind of for slightly different reasons. So, yeah, congratulations. Weirdly in the game, though, Trolley Wally is the red thing with the teeth. That is the main character. So the game doesn't count because he's not human. It's a literal monster. What's that coming over the hill? It's a Trolley Wally, as the famous song goes. So, Trolley Wally with this giant record, 10p piece, and yeah, it's got to be a toy helicopter at that scale, surely, hasn't it? I don't want to think about this too much. It's freaking me out. That's it. It's really far away. The problem is if that's really far away, it's slightly in front of Trolley Wally, meaning he's gigantic and he's about to eat a skyscraper. I wouldn't put it past him, though. Look at him in the game. Bloody hell.
The front cover's a lie. It doesn't cost 10p. It costs £9 or £7.
Do you know, that's a valid point. I wonder if a little kid saw this in there, but Mum, this one's only 10p. When we all know you couldn't sell this for more than 5. So, right. What do we think? Cover of Trolley Wally, horrid little man? Show of hands? Yes. The title screen, show of hands? Yeah. Mr. Snorkers, this one. Was it as if having a flashback to having to fight it in the past? My God. And that just doesn't count. It's not human. It's a monster, isn't it? Right, so that was Trolley Wolly. This is, of course, Dinky Doo. Good old Dinky Doo, the Software Projects game nobody seems to remember. Software Projects did, I was going to say Miner Willy, that's the character, Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy. And on the covers of those games, they have the same boots as Dinky Doo is wearing. So for some reason, they share boots amongst the Software Projects game universe. So work that one out. Yeah, he's kind of a... I don't know what he is, and I'm not sure I want to know. He's got a straw hat. He's got boots. He's dropping some blueberries, grapes, a DNA module. I don't know. And he's got some really horrible monsters underneath him and some lines. Good for him. In the game, though, he's just the little face in the top left. Not really human, not really unpleasant. Yeah, doesn't qualify. But for Dinky Doo himself with... Hang on, I've just realised, is that a haircut? Like one of those 1920s American really overly greased haircut? Oh, it is, yeah. I wonder if he just painted his head and was cheating.
And a hat.
Yeah. Just got two Rhino, that's it. It's just two records he's melted onto his head. That's what drove him mad.
What about the broken record?
But look at his cheeks, his lovely little cheeks. Right, Dinky Doo. Is Dinky Doo a horrid little man? Show of hands. Yeah, pretty unanimous. Yeah. The chin placement can now not be unseen. We must move on. I genuinely hadn't noticed that. Now I just wish I didn't know about it. But don't worry, he may be grotesque, but I'm sure Beer Belly Bert's Brew Biz is lovely. This Americana range, who re-released like full-price American games over here, I think. Some of their covers are just atrocities, they really are. But Beer Belly Bert there, I don't understand what's going on with him. It's like the top of his body is this big and immediately goes down to a waist that big. That's not good, is it? That can't be good for your bladder or your life in general. Oh, God. In the game, incidentally, he is the purple thing in the bottom left. I don't know what's happened to him. He looks kind of like the Elephant Man from the old film from the 80s. I don't really know how to describe him.
William Afton.
There we are, yeah. I was going to say John Hurt, that was the actor. Also, I've met John Hurt. I'm pretty sure he didn't look like that. He also kind of looks like a burnt jelly baby. Been in the microwave for just a few seconds. Don't really know what's going on there as compared to the colour. I think he's human enough, isn't he? And he's slightly unpleasant at least, I think. Right, show of hands. Beer Belly Bert on the cover. Is he a horrid little man? Oh yes, right, he's going down. Nobody's escaped so far. What about Beer Belly Bert in the game? No, people like him. Oh, there's a lady there. Is there a person at the back? Yeah, there's a few. Okay, that's interesting. So Beer Belly Bert, if you saw him walking past your house, you'd think, oh, that's fine. As he goes to get his giant key while being accosted by whatever the character on the right is. Like, looks like Chaz, Morph's mate, if you remember the old cartoon. Anyway, here's Hocus Focus. Yeah.
Green thing coming
There's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack in this, as people say. If I remember from the very brief period I played this game about 15 years ago, the bottom screen really flickers nastily and makes you feel ill. So great game design there, if that is accurate. Yeah, so I think he's a photographer, but he's swallowed some kind of beach ball. Don't really know what's going on with him. In the game, though, I recognise that expression exactly. That is the expression my dog has when caught doing something she shouldn't be. That exact... I'm not doing anything. I don't talk, I'm a dog. I can't remember if this game was any good or not. Who am I kidding? It's not going to be any good, is it? I can't look at it. Also, I think there's a special place in hell for game characters that have hair the same colour as their flesh. It's got like a giant spider for a head, which I'm not too keen on. Anyway, Hocus Focus, the character in the box art there. Show of hands, horrid little man. Yeah, I think that's over half. Only Joe was about 50-50 on that one. Interesting. What about in the game? Oh, that's not right. So it's 50-50 on whether he goes in the bin from the title screen, but definitely from the game. Understandable. Anyway, jam lovers will doubtless love Sam's jam. Look at that greedy rodent. I like to imagine it's Ray Winston doing the voiceover for that. Look at that greedy rodent. So if you want to know the game mechanic of this, and you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. Sam has to run under the vat of jam, catching massive drips in his house, in his mouth even. He might keep him in his house, don't know. Until his stomach becomes so distended and swollen that he has to run off screen to the sauna to lose weight. How quick is his digestive system? That makes no sense. And then he has to run back on. Meanwhile, he has to avoid a rat bigger than he is because he's either very small, the rat's very big, or a bit of both. I don't really know. It's a very odd game. Yeah, I really need to tell you that, don't I? You'd never have worked that bit out on your own. So in the picture there, we've got the vat of jam. Sam's, I think that's his tongue, could be some sort of raw slug coming out of his mouth to catch it. He's got his distended stomach on display and he's strangling some kind of rat. So yeah, everything kids wanted in games back in those days, yeah. Whereas in the game, he's just a kind of little man. I don't think there's anything particularly horrid about him, is there? I don't know. Well, it's up to you. Is Sam a horrid little man in the game art? He's a Norwich City fan. Oh, that's a good point. He is. He's a local boy, isn't he? Yeah.
What if he was catching the Ipswich rat?
It's Derby Day. I'm going to strangle that rat, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that was unanimous. What about Sam in the game? Yeah, there's a couple. I think he's, for that period and what you can do with pixels, actually you can do a lot nicer on the Commodore 64. I take it all back. Anyway, and now, here's something that I really wish I'd seen for the Horrible Games covers a few years ago. This is an Atari 8-bit game called Fred. I mean, there's so much going on there that you shouldn't see. Starting with his square pectoral muscles. The fact... No, the bedroom eyes and the bedroom pose. It's like, that's not happening, Fred. Sorry, mate. But yeah. I'd like to know what Zeppelin Games covered up with their logo, because it's in a weird position.
That was what they were worried about.
See, yeah. I dread to think what's under that. It's like locked away like the Ark of the Covenant, the original artwork for this one, but yeah.
Is this like pre-internet fanfic
Oh, I think there's a lot of that in these games. In the years before DeviantArt, you had to basically publish an 8-bit game, yeah.
Fred Flintstone.
Oh, there is I could do a whole talk on knockoff Fred Flintstones and especially Captain Caveman's. They loved Captain Caveman because you can draw him with very little detail. So there's so many games about that, but they're all sort of all right looking. Fred here, I can't see him very well on the screen. Hang on, I don't know. He looks like a really early Ninja Turtle or something. Can't really make much out from that. So now I'm going to ask the most redundant question any human has ever asked. Is Fred a horrid little man? Yeah. And we can even see he's horrid by the size of that cactus, unless it's some sort of massive giant one. And is he one in the game? Well, a few people. He's got away with it in game, but sadly for Fred, he now lives in the bin of horror. Right, now we will get on to the meat, so to speak. This will be the actual Amiga games we were talking about earlier. And we're going to start with the one that always springs to mind for me when talking about weird Amiga platform game characters, Flimbo's Quest. Mainly because he's called Flimbo. Who thought that was a good name? So weird. So in the game on the right there, he's just a little guy in a hat with an F on it. Not a massive problem. On the left, he's like something Picasso drew while he was really ill. As somebody pointed out in the live stream, actually, he's got the eyes of a crab. I think all the monsters are going after him because they fear him. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Can I just point out that the bag to his right kind of looks like... I'm not going to point that out. Yeah. There's a lot going on in that picture. It's very detailed and full of joy. And by joy, I mean flimbo. So when, back in the day, me and my friend, whenever we saw a cutesy character like that, we would refer to him as a flimbo, as if it was like an entire new species or something. So Flimbo's got that going for him. But he's also got the eyes of a crab. So, yeah. Let's do it. Who thinks Flimbo in the left-hand one, as in the game art, is a horrid little man? Yeah. Oh, there's cool. Oh yeah, it's going 50-50. See, the crab eyes really threw me off, and perhaps people like him. He honestly does look like he could be in SpongeBob, doesn't he? Yeah. What about Flimbo in the game? A few, yeah. I think he's fine in the game personally, but yeah, on the left, I'm certainly dropping in towards horrid little man territory. So something we should bring up actually is he's a little man on the right, but kind of looks more like a kid on the left. So I think the ruling is for whether they're a man or not in this sense is they might call them kid or so-and-so child, but if they look like they're 40, they're getting horrid little man. Basically, if they're not a baby, they're going in the horrid little man category. Right, that was Flimbo, and now our good mate Terry. He's got a big adventure, but to be fair to Terry, everything seems big. I mean, he's at least 40 years old. He's been cursed by a wizard, I would guess. I don't know, maybe crushed by some sort of industrial equipment. Most of his body's just missing, you know. Couldn't be bothered with the upkeep, got rid of it. And I promise, even though I used the C64 artwork because it was high quality, that is an Amiga screenshot on the right. It's I assume an early game. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. So, I mean, Terry in the game is just barely there, really, is he? He's just a sort of nose and hair. So I'm not getting any particularly horrid vibes off him. But on the left, oh yes, he's even got a yo-yo. That really is. Isn't he wearing the same coloured clothes as Steve Buscemi in that Hello Fellow Kids clip? Oh my goodness. He's fooling. You're fooling nobody, Terry. Go home.
Also, Terry's having a snot on the right, basically. A snot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the background. Hang on.
Snot.
It can't be the background grass because it's not starting at the... Well, you know what we've all got to do tonight? Go home, play Terry's Big Adventure and look at the grass really carefully and wonder what we've done with our lives. Yeah. Oh my God. Right. So Terry on the box art? Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And Terry in the game? Oh, about a third of the people. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and see, I've got... He's not doing anything for me emotionally there at all. He's just nothing. He's a collection of small pixels. Well, I know they all are, but you know what I mean. It's like a detail. That's why he uses a yo-yo, isn't it? Because he doesn't have to go like that. He just goes... It's like, yeah, look, I'm going to walk the dog now. Yeah. No. It's like the last shot in RoboCop where Dick Jones is falling and his arms look really long. They've just used a hideously wrong lens. Oh dear. Right, go away, Terry. We now need to look at Arabian Nights. Now, I think these are fine. I think that's quite a nice design, the guy on the right. The problem with the cover is it's a bit of a mess visually. It kind of takes a few seconds to kind of pass what's going on. Oh, right, there's a big demon and there's blokes in the bottom corner. But again, quite nicely drawn. If I remember, some versions of this actually have a cartoon at the start as a little intro and it's drawn in that style, which is quite nice. Quite a nice game, Arabian Nights, if I remember. One of the better Amiga platformers. Written by Chrysalis, who, if I remember, always did quite good work. But yeah, that is Arabian Nights. It's a very standard platform game at the time, and you can tell that from the right there. So, anybody think the cover art is horrid? Nobody at all? Anybody think the spray is horrid? No? Good work, Chrysalis. You managed to escape the horrid little men completely. Just like the next one. Yes, yeah. The cover's horrid just for sort of the design of it and the placement, really.
It
Yeah.
looks cheap, but it's doable.
I think
What's best about it?
that's probably true. Like, the characters are quite good, but the demon's a bit kind of meh, isn't it? I think maybe that's the thing, yeah.
They're quite pink for Arabic people.
I mean, you've made a good point. Maybe it's really hot. Oh, wait, it's always hot. It's Arabia, yeah. Also, I don't believe that's a real scimitar. That looks like a cardboard one, doesn't it? But I mean, we're splitting hairs here. They're not horrid little men. It's fine. It's fine. The Seven Gates of Jambala. I actually didn't know there was an Amiga version of this. In my head, this is always Atari ST and C64. But it certainly does exist. Quite a nice cover. But our main character is kind of the weird elf thing at the end. But I don't feel you can really see it well enough to even know. Do you know what I mean? And in the game, he's just kind of a bloke with a hat. Do you know what I mean? It's not looking particularly elvish or anything. Very nicely drawn dragons in the bottom, though. I'll give him that. I've certainly got no complaints on the dragon front. I'm not sure if he's that small. I think he is, actually, from previous looking. But I foolishly didn't leave anything in for scale. So that didn't help, did it? Anyway, Seven Gates of Jambala, the little elf on the cover. Yeah, it's hard to tell, to be honest, isn't it? What about in the game? No, that's fine. Look at that. 2 more dodged. I'm sure the next one will be... You know how these things go. Video Kid. What is Video Kid? I don't know, but he's 38. Yeah, so this is like a platformer where you go around in different genres. A bit like Oscar, if you remember that one. I was going to put Oscar in this, but nobody knows what he's supposed to be, including the people who made the game, so that made it difficult. But yeah, he's like a spaceman, and he's in 1930s Chicago murdering somebody, and he's a wizard, and he's a cowboy, and he's standing on the VCR. Don't do that. Crying out loud. He does look like an Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa.
Spore brat,
Yeah, I think that's kind of the concept of the game, to be honest with you. What I absolutely cannot forgive on the right, other than the fact he appears to be melting, is the soul patch. That soul patch could... I mean, that could almost be a horrid little man in his own right. I do like his popped collar, though. Very different to, for instance, what he looks like on the cover, where he's different coloured clothing and got a hat. Anyway.
it's like a goatee. Friendlier on the live cycle.
It's a very odd design. Again, well, I say that as if that's something weird in this. So I'm doing a day. I also like that they've just put random words around the cover. Picture, VHS, video. It is a game. It is £40. It could be. There's only one way to find out.
I think it's stop.
That makes more sense. Well, let's do it. Video Kid on the cover. Is he horrid? Oh, that's almost unanimous. That's astonishing. What about in the game? Yeah, I can disagree with that not at all. Now, oh, get back to Carcosa. No, it's too late. So, we're going to go through a slightly troubling development now. Video Kid's wizard costume has opened the door to horrid little wizards, which is a whole thing. It's a whole subset on its own. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, technically 7 horrid little wizards, potentially. Here is the first. Apprentice. Look at me, Mum! Look at me! Have you been letting him eat blue Smarties again? I also love that in the game he's just taken his shirt off. And he's got such an expression of, I can't be bothered with this. That is a serious case of webcomic face. I feel like half the characters in webcomics have that expression. Also, is that a rat wearing some kind of helmet on the left? I can't really work it out.
Itself, it's been hung.
Yeah, it's standing in front of a crate. I've finally worked it out after all these years. But there we are. He's an apprentice, and if he graduates wizard school, he gets a shirt. I don't know. Good for him. Are his balloons sentient?
They look like Pontry Peas.
They do look like Poddington Peas. Down at the bottom of the garden, there's this thing. Lovely.
There's a devil on one of the balloons.
One of the balloons is satanic. That is a fair point. Right. Also, he is very wired, isn't he? He's drunk too much caffeine or something. Anyway, apprentice. What do we think about the cover? Yeah, he's going in the bin. What about in the game? Oh, there's quite a few. I'm surprised. I think he's fairly... I mean, it's kind of weird that he's just running around in his trousers, but I mean, yeah, he's just a lad. He's just a man, an innocent man. Yeah. But also he's got no nose, so he could be a Funko Pop. So... Oh no, wait, Funko Pops don't have mouths. Oh, he got away with it. Right, next up, another one. Magician. So he gets away with the cover by not being on it, or getting somebody to turn him into a frog first, so nobody knows. So yeah, hats off to him. We can skip that. We cannot skip what may be one of the finest examples of overly detailed character. So that is the same character there and facing forwards in the status panel on the right. So something I noticed is he's got kind of just feet attached to his bum, I think. Because look at him here. If he puts his arms down, they'll reach the floor like a gorilla. So he's got insane proportions, massively over-detailed, and I think he ticks pretty much all the boxes, actually. He's a pretty strong contender for one of the most horrible ones we've had yet.
I've noticed that there's a Prince of Persia sticker on there.
Yes, that is entirely true. So for some reason this was marked up as Prince of Persia. So when somebody bought this, like that happened, I presume they scanned the barcode and they thought they'd sold a copy of Prince of Persia. Maybe the shop then didn't know what they had in stock. Maybe they went out of business and it was all due to Apprentice, who used a magic spell to change the sticker into a better game. Right, who thinks magician, is a horrid little man? Everyone, I don't blame you at all. Right, next up is, I'm going to explain this first just because it annoys me so much. This game is called Slightly Magic. The main character's name is Slightly. You see? Yes. There should be laws against that. Slightly Magic. There he is. Had to use a Commodore 64 one for clarity, but yeah, he's just kind of a elf guy, looking a bit kind of... Yeah.
Supposed to be a kid.
Is he supposed to be? He probably is, but again, kind of looks like he might be about 37. Might actually be Herbert Lom or Peter Lorre or one of those actors. He's got that kind of thing to him. Also, another one with his legs glued to his bum, look. Yeah. Something that I find fascinating is he's got a very pared down, very cartoony style. The guards don't. The guards are far more detailed. It's like he's in a game where everything's more detailed than him. Has he escaped from a different game? I'm overthinking this. Right. So, Slightly Magic with his horrible, horrible nightcap covered by demons who seem to be really pleased with what he's doing. That doesn't surprise me. Do we think Slightly Magic on the cover is a horrid little man? Okay, that's pretty right. 50-50. Okay. What about in the game? Oh, that surprises me. I thought in the game he's fairly... No, I'm kind of getting it now, looking at him again, actually. Yeah, it's the eyes, isn't it? The eyes are the window to the soul. Or hell, in his case. Right, the next one has amazing cover art, which is so different to the game, it's unbelievable. Spellfire the Sorcerer. Whoa! He's not a horrid little man, he's some sort of demigod. Look at him, he's straight out of 2000 AD, that fella, isn't he? Absolutely amazing. And only £6.99. But unfortunately in the game, I don't really know what's going on. He just looks like a sort of retired librarian who's cosplaying for some reason.
Catfishing.
I don't get it. That's it. That's his Tinder profile on the left. And yes.
Is your Horrid little man just merely in comparison?
Yes. You brought this on yourself, Spellfire the Sorcerer. You could have been honest with us and gotten away with it, but no. You had to pretend you were super-powered elf guy or whatever's going on there.
Definitely not shield quality there.
Yeah. Yeah, that falls off when you buy it. Look at his belt buckle, though. That's worth a few quid, isn't it? Imagine if that's gold. You probably wouldn't be able to stand up, but let's not worry about that.
More like bronze.
I'm thinking pewter with a sort of tin foil on it, these nicked out of quality street rappers, because I don't trust him now. Look what he actually looks like. Yeah, he has nothing. Well, who knows what he's wearing under that robe, and who cares? The answer is nobody. Right, so is Spellfire the Sorcerer, game only, obviously, a horrid little man? Oh, definitely. Okay, goodbye Spellfire. We hardly knew ye, because you lied. I've just realised he's Ronnie Corbett. Ah, we got there. Right. Next up is Spellbound. Oh. Spellbound. Look at that blistering artwork. Oh. So that artwork is by Peter Jones, the artist, obviously, and it was drawn for a paperback novel called The Enchanter Completed and reused for this, which is a polite way of saying it has nothing to do with the game whatsoever. I mean, it's amazing, but yeah, that's irrelevant. What we do have is somebody who is really, really out of it. Like, that guy hasn't slept for about a month. He's just like, I don't know what's going on. Can I just go home? What does that say in the background there? Quicksand. Oh, well, at least they're telling you. I'd be more worried about the disembodied hands than the quicksand myself. I feel like quicksand is dangerous, but disembodied hands, that's something you need to warn people about with a bit more severity. But there we go. Yeah, he's definitely small as well, isn't he, compared to the world. Again, nice dragon in the status panel, though. Keeps happening. Right, what do we think about Spellbound for in-game only, obviously? Ooh, oh, okay, I thought he'd get away with that, but he is not. He is consigned to the bin of horror, which is fair enough. And the last one from our Horrid Little Wizards interlude, it's a twofer. It's Wiz and Liz, together at last. The Frantic Wabbit Rescue. Yeah. So I don't really know what's going on here. They don't look particularly small in the title art, but my goodness, they do in the game. They're absolutely microscopic. So Liz is the red one, Wiz is the blue one. You probably guessed that, but just to make sure. I don't know what I make of them in the game. I don't know whether they're sort of creepy or not, really. On the cover, I'm saying yes. Unequivocally, yes. Maybe that's just me, but... yeah.
I feel like Liz is more proportional than Wiz, because he's got better feet.
You're right. Wiz and Liz are in totally different proportions, actually. I think Liz, is sort of less than Wiz. Well, tell you what, we'll go for Wiz first, then we'll do Liz second, as that's their billing. So Wiz on the cover, Horrid Little Man. Yeah. Oh, blimey, I think I'm going to poke through the ceiling then. He has failed. And in the game? Oh, not quite. Not quite. Oh. Yeah, I think he might be a guy. He's got some gonk DNA in him at the very least. And now what about Liz on the cover? Oh, no, I don't think she quite made it. Okay. And in the game? No, definitely. I think you're right. I think Wiz is far creepier in the game. Well done, Liz. You are officially not a horrid little woman. But your husband? I don't know, magic partner? I've got no idea what the situation is. But he's going in the bin, so sorry. Right, that is the end of Horrid Little Wizards. We are now back onto whatever they were making at the time. We have got Soccer Kid, a classic. Now, Soccer Kid I find fascinating because the overly detailed artwork there, like, that ain't a kid. That guy is what, 47?
Does that look AI generated?
If it was AI generated, I'd be impressed. I wonder if it was made for it back in the first ever AI generated image. They did it on an Amiga and it took 43 hours, but it came up with that. Actually, it'd probably take a lot longer thinking about it. But in the game, he does just look like, it's just all quite well designed. Looks fairly cute. Actually looks like a kid, as opposed to somebody who's knocked on your door trying to sell you insurance. So, you know. The one below, incidentally, is Marco's Magic Football, which is the Mega Drive version of this game, where it was Soccer Kid was changed to Marco, and his football became magic. I don't know how. I don't think it did anything magic, if I remember. He just kicked it at people. That's not magic, is it? But anyway, yeah. There's something about Soccer Kid. It reminds me of somebody, the eyebrows, but I've never been able to put my finger on who. But anyway, on the cover, horrid little man or not? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's right, he's gone. And in the game, not a single vote. I'm not surprised.
Does the knee look a little bit weird, like perspective-wise? It's like it's not quite connected to the sock.
I've just realised there's another way that picture can be interpreted, and so I'm now moving swiftly on to the next one. That made us forget, didn't it? Yeah. It's that classic Chucky Egg 2. The original artwork for the Spectrum was not this. I don't think. It's quite impressive because that spider is horrible, and yet they've managed to make the main game character 20 times worse. So that's some skills there. Yeah.
Who's John B?
Who is John B?
Was it John B or Tom B?
I can't see. Oh, there. That's the artist. Yeah, John B. The B stands for Beelzebub, I'm guessing.
Needs to go to prison.
I like that. He needs to go to prison. I can't argue. Why am I being sent to prison? Look at you. Actually, the cap, I think, should probably be illegal on its own. The interesting thing is in the game, he's like a potato. Why? He's called Chucky Egg. He's supposed to be an egg. Well, he's not supposed to be an egg. He's a character called Henhouse Harry, who's a little guy, if I remember. But we'll come on to that in a second. Also, is that dog made of stone or something? That's a very odd texture to have given it. Poor old Bonzo. So, Chucky Egg in the game, on the title, sorry, is, yep. And Chucky Egg in the game. Yeah. He's not a man. Well, now that is a good point, yeah. Is he a man? Is he truly a man? Is he 50% human?
If the first, yeah, well, it was 50% human, but like the first two, because he looks like the first two.
Yeah.
And those were still classified as horrible little men.
Yeah, I think he might scrape in. It is close though, isn't it? I think the thing is he's got no like body. Well, he has a body but no head, or he has a head and no body. I don't know. What is the physiology of Chucky Egg? Or Henhouse Harry? I think he keeps his organs in a sack in his house. Yeah. Oh, he's got limbs. He's got huge. Oh, are we talking that? Yeah.
I wish he was less human.
That's it. I kind of think that one 50% human, that one not. I think going by sort of, how I feel about Chucky Egg. I did just have to throw in the Spectrum screen where, look, he's just a little guy. Why did they do that to Henhouse Harry? Why did they make him into this bizarre potato or monster? He's just a little guy with a hat on. Yeah. And on the plus side, if you can't draw a doghouse, you can just write doghouse and something. It becomes a doghouse. So, we've learned something today.
Yeah.
Right. Here's one that many people may have got free on the cover of issue 2 of Amiga Power. It is Kid Gloves. I'm pretty sure that's Jay Leno. I mean, either way, again, it's not a kid, is he? I'm going for late 50s for this one. The weirdest thing about this game is it all appears to be put around the fact he's wearing boxing gloves, which do not feature in the game at all. He attacks enemies by throwing coins. I don't know. And in the game, he just looks like somebody had the characters from Rainbow Islands explained to them over the phone and tried to draw it. Also, why is he that shape and yet the other character up the top looks perfectly normal proportioned human? There's something going on here and I don't care. Anyway, kid gloves then. There's a caveman. It does show him throwing the coin, I've just realised. Oh well, there we are. And holding what may be an ice cream? Or some mayonnaise on a stick? I don't know. Wouldn't put it past him. Kid gloves. On the cover, Horrid little man. He's not quite reached it. He's not quite reached it. What about in the game? Oh, he has reached it. That's interesting. I think he's worse on the cover. It is interesting how different people perceive kid gloves differently. That will be our next thesis. Right. Then, of course, there was Kid Gloves 2, The Journey Back. Whereas he's just a bit sort of weirdly drawn. I don't know what's going on with the lady he's pulling along. She's seen something off screen there, which has terrified her. Oh my God. But in the game, that is quite clearly Bub from Rainbow Islands in a wig and lipstick. I mean, it absolutely is. Yeah. And has a real Wonder Boy in Monsterland vibe. So there kind of wasn't really actually a Kid Gloves 2 in a real sense. This is a game called Little Bo, which was made as a sort of, you know, Wonder Boy in Monsterland type thing. And then for some reason at the last minute they went, I know, let's say it's Kid Gloves 2, despite the fact he doesn't even have any gloves. I don't get that at all. Yeah. Yeah, oh yes, they've hung them on the logo, you'll notice. Not in the actual main artwork. Yeah. So, isn't that a weird thing? It's like having a Sonic Hedgehog game saying, yeah, he's not going to run anymore. Just going to sort of sit there scrolling through some microfiche. Yeah. Right. Kid Gloves 2. On the cover, what do we think? We think no. I agree. What about in the game? Yeah, okay. I'm getting that. That's it. The end of the game is he picks up his gloves and go, why didn't I just buy some more? Yeah. Right, we're running out of time here. There's more horrid little men than I thought. We're going to have to go a bit quicker. Although that will be difficult because you're about to see one of the worst images ever implanted in human retinas. Twin World. The example of a cover with a horrid little man on. How about we have a kid and replace their head with a man's head? That won't be weird at all, will it? Oh, wait. It will be an abomination. Lovely. I mean, I don't really know what else to say to this. It's just, it's deeply horrible. Yeah. I think it's Noel Edmonds now, actually. That beard really does have a Noel Edmonds twinge, now you've said that. And in the game, he looks even more Noel-y. So, yeah. The weird thing in the game is you start off younger, and as the game progresses, you grow the beard in a literal sense. And he's a bit, to be fair, he's a little bit cuter without the beard. But Twin World, by the way, very good game. Not that you'd spot it from this, but yeah, well worth a play if you're into Amiga stuff. Anyway, Twin World on the cover. I mean, if you're not putting your hand up now, you've probably had them nailed to the chair. In the game? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sort of 50-50 in the game. Looking at it again, I don't know why. Anyway, we don't like bottom bananas. We want top bananas. I don't know what that means. Sampled graphics. Yeah, you've spotted the screenshot. So, two different people, so I wrote about this in a book, and two different people have said to me, oh, I bought your book and one page was covered in sick. And I'm like, you're making a joke about the top banana page, aren't you? Like, yep. It looks marginally better on the Archimedes, if I remember. And it's so marginal, it's unbelievable. I like the way they say editable sprites. Maybe you could edit them into something you can actually pass with your eyes and understand, because I don't know what anything is. Yeah, and something else is nice. It has really weird parallax scrolling. So when it's in motion, it's even worse. Yay!
Is one of them just a cow's head with legs?
It could literally be. I can't remember, and I can't make it out from here. Yeah.
It's like somebody took it from a Game Boy camera and placed it into this one.
This is what happens when the Game Boy cameras come into the real world. Yeah. So I quite like the character on the front. It's fine, isn't it? Simple, but it's some sort of haunted porcelain doll thing going on. It's going to come alive in the night and eat your feet off or something. It's horrible. Ugh. Right, front cover, yay or nay? No, everyone likes it. In the game, yeah. Oh, that's a bit heavier than I thought, but yeah. All right, we're going horrid little woman for that one. Right.
Yeah.
Rolling Ronnie. If you're wondering why I didn't use the box and used an advert, it's because I really wanted to show you the phrase, the coolest dude in town. You don't know what cool means. He's a mutant clown. And I think he's a delivery boy, inexplicably, in the sort of world of the game. But yeah, he is whatever he is. He's a clown. A clown is a monster. So I think he's already got that going against him. But he's not alone. I mean, look at the guy. Just outside the shop there. I said a shop, it could be any building actually looking at it, but it's got an awning. Yeah, very weird designs to say the least. And I really don't like what's going on with his face on the box and his pupils and everything around him and the colours and the setting and everything. It's certainly been caught by everybody else in it by the looks of it. Right, Rolling Ronnie on the cover, Horrid Little Man. Yes. Rolling. Can a clown ever be human? Important questions. In the game, I don't mind him too much in the. I don't know why. I'm looking at him again. He's awful. Anyway. Zombie. Oh my god, that's a cut. Axel's magic hammer. It looks like a genuine child who's just having a great time smashing things up with his dad's mallet. No, that's sort of fun. In the game, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I don't know. So you'll see why I've shown these in a minute. So first one, I think probably fine in the game. Fine. What do you people think? What do you think for the cover? Fine. Yeah. Yeah. He's got that kind of style too, isn't it? And in the game. Any hands? No? A couple, yeah. The reason actually was for the title screen. The title screen, he's not a horrid little man at all, but he does appear to be a murderer. What I like about it is it's totally different to anything that appears in any of the rest of the artwork. But yeah. Clang, clang, Axel's magic hammer came down. Boop, 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 boop. I mean, you wouldn't go and meet him on the edge of a cliff anyway, but if he thinks he's hiding that mallet, he is hideously wrong. Oh, it's the Bitmap Kid from Magic Pockets. Music by Betty Boo. It's actually a version of Doing the Do, if I remember. There he is with his big star. The idea in Magic Pockets is he's got pockets that are magic. He throws things out of them. Yeah, it's a very weird looking game mechanic. We're not going to get into that, but on the cover he kind of looks, he could be a kid, couldn't he? Fairly normal. In the game, he's about 83 and might be George Burns. I don't really get what's going on there. But again, this is one with extra art. So very quickly, cover. Yeah, a couple, not really. In the game. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, I would agree with that. He didn't seem quite as bad as I remembered, but then I remembered what I was thinking of. The artwork from the instructions, where he's raging at kid gloves, apparently, and whatever's going on there, that I think might actually be Ray Winston. Greetings, fellow kids. All right, there was a game of hello. Nobody knows why, but there was a game of hello. And for some reason, it was cartoon fun. Hello was a live action show. It wasn't a cartoon. I don't understand it. But you've got some not particularly strong cover art, and then whatever's going on the right. Yeah. I don't know why the characters are so small. Because it's cartoon fun, maybe. I don't know. But poor Rene there. Overly detailed cartoon characters. It's all fitting in, isn't it? On the cover, what do you think? Okay, I think that's in the game. Yeah. That's in as well. Okay, easy. Rick Dangerous. Definitely not on the cover. It's quite a well-drawn picture of a guy. But in the game, he's missing most of his body. I don't really know what's going on there. I hate Rick Dangerous. Ugh. It's one of those games that's just a memory test. I can't get on with it. But the face looks like a pointing finger. Like the glove from Yellow Submarine. Ah, yeah. So what do we think on Rick Dangerous? Cover? Obviously not. In the game? Oh, that makes me feel better. Thank you. Yep, he's in. He's in.
Is a Indiana Jones tryhard.
He's exactly what he is. And in the sequel, he's a superhero. I don't know. Prophecy 1. The Viking Child. There was never a Prophecy 2. So I enjoy that. So on the cover, you've got this kind of elf guy having a fight. I think that's fine, isn't it? I don't think that really qualifies on sort of multiple levels. In the game, I was always 50-50 on this one. Yeah, he could believably be a kid, which is a rarity of this kind of stuff. And there's a version of this for the Atari Lynx, and you can't say that very often. What do we think? Viking Child in the game?
He looks like the Squire from Orc Attack.
Chuck him the lightning conductor thing. What was it? I can't think what I'm talking about. Weather vane. That was it. Well, I think I think he's got away with it. Good work, Viking Child. He is rough. Oh, he is rough and tumble. Now, this is the other way around to a lot of these, because I think in the game he kind of looks fine. You know, he's just a cute little guy, probably a kid. He's got a very dangerous looking gun, somebody his age, but let's not worry about that. But on the front cover, oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on there.
Knock off Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, knock off Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am shooting my gun. The robots are dead. What fun. Rough and Tumble and Study. Really good game. Really good game. What do you think for the cover?
I think outside, yeah.
Oh, he's in. And in the game? Oh, a couple have said for that. That surprises me. Oh, okay. Very well. And now, I'm afraid we always have to end on the worst ones. And here we go. Welcome to Nicky Boom. No? Oh, it gets much worse. Much, much worse. So, on the cover, he's just kind of... I don't think he counts on the cover because he does appear to be a child. He doesn't appear to be a man, so okay, we'll let that. The second one, I'm kind of 50-50 on. I'm not quite sure what's going on with his weird shirt that appears to be literally designed to show off his stomach. I don't know. Okay, whatever. All a bit weird. Your opinions on the title screen there, not the box art, but the title screen, one on the right. What do you think? Yeah, there's a few. He does look a bit teen. Yeah, I think he's probably might not count. Nobody's thinking, okay, fine. Anyway, prepare yourselves for the in-game sprite.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
So, is it an inflated baby version of Heath Ledger's Joker wearing a Donald Trump wig? I don't know. I think what happened was they were like, Nicky Boom character, what's he going to look like? How about the bloated corpse of a clown dredged up from a river? Yeah, perfect. Also in the game he attacks by throwing apple cores. I don't know why. But he's called Nicky Boom because he also blows things up. He's got a lot going for him, except, well, that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel this is academic for this one, but show of hands for the sprite. Yeah, absolutely. I think he might be the worst. Weirdly, in Nicky 2, because despite what you've seen, game's pretty good. Got a sequel. Nicky 2 has far inferior art, but the main character just looks totally normal.
Did you shoot something out of his belly button?
No, but possibly. I honestly don't know. It's one of those games where I think things just appear in front of him when you fire them. So you can come up with whatever head cannon you like. But looking at that sprite, it's going to be monstrous. Anyway, this is what I think is the worst of all of... Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on, I forgot. We did a little bit of science on this one. Duke Donut said, I think that for a proper horrid little man, it is a combination of man, monster, and baby. And I realised that Nicky Boom pretty much maxes out all of those, doesn't he? Manages to be all three of those things simultaneously. Because as we said earlier, a clown is a monster. So... Anyway, the worst one for me, worse even than that, is Ruffian. I feel like the cover art should just be glossed over because I think it may have been drawn by a 4-year-old. But the one of him in the game, down the bottom there, well, that's not the sprite, that is title screen. He's got this weird thing going on with his nose, his eyes, and his mouth, and the entire rest of his being. So,
You know, my main kind of problem with him is that he has like 5 different body types at once.
oh, you have just predicted the next image of him in the game.
You know, he's got
Yeah.
like a fat face, really skinny arms, and a really like,
He has a really weird workout routine. He skips most days. So the next, you have to see this one in motion. I have embedded a video, which hardly ever works. I've spared you the sound. You don't want the sound.
Why?
Yeah, burn it, burn it.
All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Right. Yeah. Let's just say that he spits. Yeah, I don't think any therapist would take it on for that. He spends the whole game running around with his mouth open in that weird position so he can spit quicker. Like Pob, if anybody remembers Pob from the television. Yeah. Anyway, show of hands. Some people have put 2 hands up. Let the record observe. Oh, there we are. That is the correct response. Well done. Oh dear. So those are only a choice few examples, really. There's a lot more we could have gone into. Thank God we didn't. We ran over anyway. Loads more, especially if you dig deeper into the covers of 8-bit games. That is a real rabbit hole that goes right to the Earth's core. So this all begs the question, what happened? Why were these weirdly off-putting images and characters used to advertise games on their very boxes? Why were game protagonists created that made your skin crawl? And the answer is, I don't know. I mean, I did start to wonder, is this some sort of almost deliberate thing, trying to appeal to that British sense of grotesque, you know, that you'd see in our comics, wouldn't you, all the way from like the Beano to 2000 AD, you know, there's weird designs going on. Was it some sort of reaction against actual cuteness? No, I just realised I was totally overthinking it. I am pretty sure they're just weird designs that were supposed to be funny ha-ha, but ended up funny peculiar. Mostly because of over-detailing, yeah. I think we should give the last word to Crazy Caveman. I know the feeling, mate. I know the feeling. He's quite cute in the game. Anyway, there you go. Ooh.